17. Behold, God hath declared through the prophets, I will send Elijah the prophet before the great and fearful day. Prepare ye the way. Now wherefore is my heart restless again? The nigher we draw unto the cities of Israel, the greater is my unrest of heart, and the greater seemeth my fear of that which is to happen. We left the cities of the Gentiles, and we came to the borders of Israel, where the sanctity is. And every day my hope grew more sure that soon my Rabbi would reveal himself, and there would appear Elijah the prophet, and would bring the tidings and bear witness to our Rabbi. But meanwhile our Rabbi went by the cities, and sojourned with the shepherds in the fields, till we came to a mount, and the Rabbi said, Here we shall lodge this night, for the night had fallen on the place. And the light of heaven was poured down upon the hill, as though the Spirit of God brooded upon it, and a stillness came upon the world, not like unto that stillness which is before a storm, but the stillness of everlasting rest, which cometh when all living things do become one with their Creator, and they fulfill themselves as was decreed in the moment of their conceiving. We heard the song of night. And what is the song of the night? The song of the night is silence, and it sang into our hearts all terror and desire and love of the Creator. And the Rabbi said, Here shall I pray. And he enfolded himself in a talit, and he took with him Simon and the sons of Zebedee, and ascended with them to the summit of the mount to pray, for the hour was auspicious. And the other disciples remained at the foot of the mount. And we took the stones of the place, and laid them beneath our heads, and we covered ourselves with our mantles, and sleep came soon to us, for we were wearied with the walking of the whole day. And when half the night had passed, and the second watch was gone, and we were deep sunken in sleep, we wakened, hearing a mighty voice from the mount. And when we opened our eyes, we were astonished by the whiteness of the night, for the land was steeped in light, and the mount whereon our Rabbi had gone to pray was covered with a cloud, which was like the wing of an angel, and it was as if the snows of Hermon had come hither to cover the mount. And Simon came out of the cloud, and his face was pale, and his hair disarrayed by the wind, and his eyes were large and wide open with fear, and he trembled with a great trembling. And after him came the brothers Zebedee, Jochanan first, with swift and certain steps, his arms outstretched, and his brother Jacob after him. And they likewise were terrified and distraught, even like Simon Bar-Jonah. And we, the other disciples, arose and went to meet them, for we said unto ourselves that a thing of great import had come to pass. And we said to them, Now tell us what hath chanced that ye be so shaken, as if the storm had passed through you. And Simon called, We have seen Elijah the prophet, him that we sought so long. And the brothers Zebedee testified likewise. And we asked Simon further, When and where? And he answered, There on the mount, whither the Rabbi went to pray. Elijah the prophet standeth there even now with the Rabbi, and Moses a third with them. And we were filled with astonishment by these words, and we said, Simon, tell us how this thing was, for it importeth greatly in our lives. And Simon related, Behold, we were upon the mount, and the Rabbi said unto us, Tarry here a while, and I will go to yonder place to pray alone. And he drew off from us a space, and stood where we saw the light of heaven falling upon his talit. And his arms were stretched out to his Father on high, and he prayed. And as we stood thus and beheld him in the light of heaven, there fell upon us the terror of God, for his raiment ceased not from growing whiter and whiter, and there was a flickering about him as of the amber wings of the cherubs standing between him and us. And we heard the noise of footsteps that approached, but we beheld no man. and it was as though a wind were driving upon us. And then on a sudden we beheld 2 old men in white raiment, and they stood with the rabbi and held converse with him. And in yet a little while they all vanished in a white cloud, as though the snow had fallen on the 3. And out of the cloud there came a voice which testified concerning our rabbi in the words of the prophets. And then the white cloud disappeared, and our rabbi stood there alone, and we asked him, Who were they that were with thee? And the rabbi answered, The first of these was Elijah the prophet, whom you seek, and the other was Moses, our teacher. And I called out to my rabbi, My Lord, it is good to tarry upon this hill. And if it seemeth well to thee, let us put up 3 booths, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah the prophet. For I would not that the rabbi go up to Jerusalem because of that which awaiteth us there. And Jacob and Jochanan testified according to the words of Simon. And as we stood there in great astonishment, we saw the rabbi coming down the mount, and his raiment was whiter than the hand of man could wash it, and the glory of God was upon his face, and his feet were naked, and it was as if he trod not upon the earth in his going. And there was a cloud about him, and we trembled. And the rabbi drew close, and touched us with his hands, and said, Arise, and fear not. And he bade us reveal this thing to no one until the time came. And we asked, Rabbi, is this the significance thereof, that Elijah the prophet shall come before the Messiah, as the scribes say? And Rabbi Yeshua answered, Elijah came first, but they knew him not, and they did with him according to their will. And thus shall they also do with the Son of Man, as it is written concerning him. And we gazed upon the ground, and thought hard on the words, for we knew that the rabbi spoke of Jochanan the Baptist. But Simon cried out, That can never be. On the 2nd day we rested by the shore of the Sea of Gennesaret, and took shelter from the heat of the sun. And the land was pleasant to behold, for the wheat was like a sea, which covered the levels of the land. And the clusters of grapes, as they hung from the stalks, were like the full udders of dreaming sheep. And the fig tree sent out its savour. And man went out into the fields, and the song of the reaper was within him, as it is written, Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, for it was the time of the gathering of the ears in the field. And our rabbi called to us, Go after the reapers, and gather the ears which fall from under the scythes, and rejoice in the bread which God has set aside for the poor. And we were filled with wonder, and we asked each other, But is not the whole earth his? Hath not God made him to govern over us, as the harp of Israel hath sung, even David his father? Ask of me, and I will give thee the peoples to be thy inheritance, and thy portion shall be the borders of the earth. But the rabbi understood our thoughts, and spoke thus, The richest shall be the poorest. Then the rabbi commanded us to take the ears and grind them between the stones, and make meal, and bake cakes, and put them on the fire. And this we did. And it was the evening, after the saying of the Hear, O Israel, when the worker sits at his meal. And the rabbi gathered us around the fire, and his face was exceeding sad, and he was utterly filled with the Holy Spirit. And he sat near us at the meal which we had prepared over the fire in the night, and he was silent a long while, and we too were silent. Then the rabbi took one of the cakes, and made a benediction over it, and before he took any in his mouth, he broke it into pieces and said, I am the living bread which is come down from heaven. He that will eat this bread, he shall have everlasting life. And the bread which I will give you is my flesh, which I sacrifice for the life of the world. Then Simon called out, These are hard words. Who can give ear to them? But the rabbi took the pieces of bread, and shared them out among us, the disciples, and commanded us to eat. And we stared at each other in great amazement, for we had never before heard such words from him. From that time on, the rabbi spoke to us of the bread of life, and to others likewise, and we did not understand the meaning of it.